We are going to be talking about Disney's pay to their workers in relation to what has been happening recently in the news regarding all of that stuff. Alex is going to be filling us in on all of that because I don't really have any idea as to what this is. So I will be learning as well as you guys. So Alex, why don't you take it away?
Well, it's no secret now that Disney really doesn't pay its workers very well. I mean, it's a really sad thing. But a lot of big companies do this, and Disney is just another one of them. So I'm not saying that Disney is like, oh, they're the only company that does this. No, everybody does this. But the difference is that Disney claims to care a lot about its employees, or otherwise known as cast members. Disney claims to take good care of their cast members and makes all these claims that, you know, when you work for the Disney company, you're really part of like a big family. Well, the thing is that it's hard to feel this way when you're being paid minimum wage for a job that is, quite frankly, you know, more than just a minimum wage job.
Yeah.
It's one thing to be like, you know, you're 17 and you're starting off as like a greeter at Disneyland, or like you're doing like a minimum wage job, like, you know, I don't know, like you're working in what's it called? Custodial department, you know.
Yeah.
That's like something that starts off minimum wage. But the problem here isn't necessarily that Sam the Griff says chill on that Snapple.
I can't stop drinking it. It's so good. It's going to be gone within the next 20 minutes.
But the problem here is that Disney doesn't have any kind of plans in place to raise people's their wages over time. So right now, like for a lot of food workers, the deal is that you get a 3% raise every year. 3% honestly doesn't amount to much. It amounts to like maybe like a nickel in pay, honestly, for every hour. It's not much. And it's actually really sad. So the problem is that Disney isn't paying people wages that make sense with the economy. And Disney can, in fact, afford to do this. And so the question that people are bringing up is, why isn't Disney doing this? Why aren't they taking the responsibility to do what they should be doing, which is to pay people according to what they're qualified for? Because I mean, let me tell you, you can work at Disney after getting your degree in business management, but Disney is not gonna pay you for your degree. They're gonna pay you like they pay everyone else who doesn't have a degree. That's a major problem. So I've heard a lot of people that say like, oh, this isn't Disney's fault. You know, it's your fault if you accept the job and you don't really, and you know the job doesn't really pay that much. Well, you see, that's a really backwards way of thinking about it. You see, yes, you are working for a company, but that company has a responsibility to pay you what you are worth. When the company pays you so little that it's not even close to a living wage, they're saying that you are not worth it.
And I just want to say, minimum wage in California, I wrote down a couple little bullet points. Minimum wage in California currently is $11 an hour. And according to a website on Google, I don't remember the name of the website, the living wage in California is around $10.50 and is expected to go up to a full-blown $11 next year. But Alex, go ahead and continue.
Yeah, so I mean, the biggest problem with that is, even though, you know, minimum wage is $11, which is higher than a lot of other states and things like that, it's actually a problem because what it costs to live out here is at least $15 an hour, which is significantly more. I mean, if you really want to live out here comfortably and you're, let's say, by yourself and you're getting like a small studio apartment, and you got to pay for your food, and you got to pay for your car and your gas and your insurance and whatever, and, you know, health care premiums, all that, you got to be earning at least $15 an hour in order to afford all of that. And so that's the problem, is that Disney doesn't offer jobs for people who, let's say, haven't have an education in something.
Mm.
And they don't pay them properly for for people that have that education. So one of the biggest things like that I experienced with Disney is I went and got my degree in a culinary school, and I went back. This was my second time working at Disneyland, and they require that if you're going to be a cook at Disneyland, and you're hiring in for the first time, that is, if you're hiring in for the first time as a cook at Disneyland, you have to have some kind of culinary school training or a lot of experience in kitchens. But they do not pay more for that position. They pay you the same as they would pay someone who doesn't have experience / an education. So that there's something hugely wrong. Oh my God, I just used a Trump word. There is something majorly wrong with that. So, next thing I'm going to say bigly. Anyway, so yeah, so that's basically what's going on, is like Disney. But you know what? The other thing too is that this isn't new. Disney has never paid their workers a proper wage. So, you know, like when I first hired in at Disney back in 2009, there was a hunger strike going on, and people were starving themselves waiting for Disney to pay them a higher wage, and Disney did not budge. So thankfully, those people ended up going to the hospital and getting fed with a tube in order to get them back to health, because Disney was not going to pay them more. So in any case, why does this matter to you? Why does it matter to the Disney fans or whatever? Well, here's the thing. Cast members work really hard. Not just doing a job, which is what everyone else who has a job does, but they are cast members. They provide magic. They do things that other companies don't ask their employees to do. You know, they really provide that overall feel for you, and you know, giving you a smile and a welcome greeting and a true heartfelt emotions when they talk to you is something, a step, you know, above and beyond what other companies even ask their employees to do, you know. And so cast members really do a lot of work, and a lot of cast members are working jobs in Disney that are really meant for a higher pay, but once again, they don't get that higher pay. They get paid just the regular amount that Disney pays them. So the other reason why this applies to you as fans is, well, you fans, you know, we obviously all support Disney. We're all Disney fans. You know, some of us visit the parks as annual pass holders. Some of us just watch YouTube videos. Either way, we should be supporting Disney or I should say, we should be supporting Disney in the sense that they should be supporting their cast members in return. You know, as Disney fans, we have the power to influence what the company does. So, you know, if you are on the cast member's side and you tell them, Disney, you need to pay your workers more, you know, just one voice is a whole lot, you know. And then imagine if all of us have that same voice, you know. So anyway, it's a way to support our cast members who work so hard to give us that Disney magic. And quite frankly, I love the company. I mean, I didn't have very many good experiences with it when it came to working, but I loved the company nevertheless. I devoted 6 years of my life to it. And so, you know, it's just really sad that even still Disney is not properly paying their workers. So that's all I had to say about that.
I did see in the news a couple months ago that Disney was going to raise the minimum wage to something like $15. I don't know where I saw that. It could have been like some of that fake news that everyone's talking about, but I do remember seeing something like that. I don't know if it's true, but yeah, I agree with what Alex said. Disney should be paying everybody more. Like he said, I was snooping around for apartments in the area around Disney, and rent is almost always over $1,500 for just a studio apartment. And if you do the math, $11 an hour doesn't really cover $1,500 a month for just a basic studio apartment. Although there are some places who charge a little less, but yeah. So I don't really have much else to say on that, just because I don't have any experience with any of this, but I do hope that Disney and all the workers do end up coming to some sort of compromise, even if it means raising their pay by a couple more dollars. It doesn't have to be anything drastic. And if you think about it, it's weird because Disney is literally the biggest media conglomerate, I guess would be the word, in the entire world. And they can only afford to pay their workers barely minimum wage. That doesn't really make any sense. But hey there, Mountaineers, hope you enjoyed this short excerpt from the recent podcast, and if you did, be sure to check out the full episode. The link will be in the description.